Toddlers, 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 all right? You're here, you're in the right place. If you have a child who is about 18 months through like 2.5, they used to be a great sleeper and all of a sudden they're not. So this is a tough age and I promise you we can get it back on track. I am here to help you every step of the way. Hi, my name is Sarah Bossio, and as the lead pediatric sleep expert of Your Zen Baby Sleep, not only have I helped over 700 families get their sleep on track, but I have taught probably thousands of kids in the special education classroom for over 16 years. And with that, I have an extensive behavior background that I carry into my sleep practice to help toddlers specifically, because I am here to tell you that your toddler's sleep issues are behavior related and don't have much to do with an inability to sleep. They do have to do with just the unwillingness to do so. So let's get right into it because I love behavior. It's so exciting and I can't wait to solve it for you. I'm actually going to start out by talking about a book and referencing something in the literature that I am currently reading right now. It is called The Anxious Generation. The author's name is Jonathan Haidt, and I am enthralled by the amazing work that he has done in his book. So, full disclosure, the book is about how technology, and specifically social media, and video games and all of that is impacting today's youth and the long-term effects of it. So it doesn't have a direct correlation with sleep. However, in a chapter that I recently dove into and then read and reread and reread, it's so correlated with the development of sleep training and our little ones as they are going through the sleep training process. I was reading it and I was reflecting on the process of sleep training and the process of behavior and, all of the things that I have picked up over the years with supporting families with sleep, with supporting children in the classroom, with running behavior plans for my kiddos who need a little bit of behavior support in the class as well. And I thought, oh my gosh, this is so good. This is so good to relay to parents because so often we talk about the toddler sleep regression and, my big thing is it's not just skill, it's also their will, right? So it's not about how to fall asleep, it's about being willing to do so. And many children aren't willing to fall asleep. But what Jonathan cited in the research was such a light bulb moment for me, and I hope that I can make it a light bulb moment for you too. For the purpose of proper citation and reference, right, I'm paraphrasing the book and giving him full credit for all of this. What Jonathan was saying in this book was that children from a young age innately want to do things independently, right? Our kids were born to want to do things on their own. And I want you to think about that, right? Take a minute, maybe even pause the video and reflect on that. Your toddler, your 18-month-old through 2.5-year-old, do they generally want to do every single thing in their control on their own? I have to say the answer is probably yes. I've had 2 toddlers of my own. While I am not a child psychologist, child development expert, I am a mom and I have worked with many children at this age range, and I do know that the general trend is for fierce independence. So let's use that as our baseline. Your kids want to be independent, and that's starting from a very, very young age and continues, right? It continues through elementary school and through teenage years into adulthood. We are programmed to do things independent. So I want you to use that baseline as we go into bedtime for our kiddos. Our children want to do things on their own. They also want to do what they want when they want to do it. So that is kind of a recipe for disaster when we talk about sleep. So they want to do it on their own, but they want what they want when they want it. And then on top of it, they have no idea what's good for them, okay? They don't have a clue that sleep is good for them. They don't have a clue that wiping their butt is good for them. They don't have a clue that they should be wearing a winter jacket when it's 2 degrees out because they want to wear their high heels and their princess dress, right? I mean, think about this. They're like irrational little beings. And all of that is so okay because that's the part of childhood development that they're at. We are their guides. We are their teachers. And we need to guide them properly to what is best for them and their little tiny human bodies and their little tiny human brains. So let's use that as our baseline, as what the beginning of this conversation is, that we know without a doubt that your child so wants to do something completely on their own. All right, so then it gets a little confusing, because you have a kid who may have been an awesome sleeper up to this point, and all of a sudden there's like this huge intense protest at bedtime, right? And there's a lot of things that we can throw into this mix. So, and I know I don't need to go into tons of descriptions about it. I know that this is the common trend, right? Like bedtime stalling. So it's taking what used to take 15 minutes now takes an hour and a half. I want 17 more books. I need 15 drinks of water. If I'm potty trained, I'm going to the potty 18 times, right? I get into my crib and I'm losing my mind, where I used to just lay down and put my head on the pillow and go to sleep. If bedtime's okay, I'm waking up in the middle of the night and screaming for 2 hours, right? All of those things are something that's a major difference in the way that we used to be sleeping. And it's confusing because it seems to us that they don't want to sleep, they don't know how to sleep, or they don't want to do it on their own. And that's in direct opposition to what this research says, which is your kids do want to do it by themselves. They do want to be independent. They do want to figure it out. What do we do? Like, how do we manage all that? Well, in the moment, what many parents do, and I'm so guilty of doing this, I did this with my oldest when she was 2 and going through a nightmare sleep regression. We go in and we just are in survival mode. We do whatever we can to just get them to be quiet, to just get them to go to sleep, because you're exhausted. Maybe you're pregnant. Maybe you're trying to get pregnant and expecting your next child, because that's the age range when we're all trying to do the second time around or the third time around. You're looking down the hole of going to work the next day, right? And you are just like, okay, I'll just lay down with you in your teeny tiny little toddler bed, or I'll get you the 7th drink of water, or let's go to the bathroom for the 8th time. And what that does is it reinforces the behavior. So what your child now knows is, I can have this extreme losing my mind, and what I get is attention, and I get the water, and I get mom, and I get the snuggles, and I get whatever, because whenever I act like this, I get exactly what I want. So what's important to know in that moment is that the behavior, the root of it, is not because they can't do it or they don't want to do it. It's because they want something else. They want an attention from you. They want to avoid being in bed because they just want to be up and party all night long. They want access to you, to their favorite people in the world. It has nothing to do with their inability to fall asleep or the fact that they won't be capable of doing so at this age. Because bringing it back to what this book is saying, they want to be able to do things independently all of the time. Let's figure out the solution, right? It's hard. It's not easy. For parents who previously sleep trained their kids when they were babies, this is going to be more challenging than when they were babies. They can talk, they can say things to you, they have the stamina to be able to protest longer, and they have big feelings, right? For parents who were lucky enough not to have to sleep train, it's going to be a challenge because you didn't ever have to go through sleep training, right? And for families who might be at a place where sleep has always been off, but now it's come to a head where it's not sustainable, and you realize, oh my gosh, I didn't think I'd ever have to go through the process of sleep training, this might be a tough decision for you to make. So ultimately, the solution from where I stand is teaching your child independent sleep. And in my world, that equals sleep training. What I want to relate back to what Jonathan Haidt is suggesting is that teaching kids boundaries. Sleep training would be a boundary that you're teaching your child, just as a rule such as limiting social media, right? Just as a rule as turning off the video game, just as that's, relating that back to the book specifically. Teaching sleep training and putting up that boundary of you are sleeping in your crib, you are falling asleep on your own, and you are sleeping through the night. What that does to our children is it creates secure attachment. And I know that this is a hot topic, right? Because so many people say, well, you're letting your child cry, so they're going to feel like you don't come back and respond to them, and that's going to create an attachment issue. And it's actually the opposite. And again, this is based on the research from his book that I am paraphrasing and quoting, not direct quoting. So follow me here. When we put up the boundaries and our child knows what to expect, right? And we know that they have the firm boundaries that they can rely on. And they are relying on themselves to do the skill. They're not relying on their parents for something that they can do, something that they are capable of. That creates confidence within themselves. When our children have self-confidence in their skill, then they have less anxiety and they have less fear when they go out into the world. When we go out into the world with less anxiety and less fear, that creates more attachment. And all of those things circle back to your parenting style. And all of this is in the research, right? So I think this is what the coolest thing for me was, and I'm like so passionate about this. I hope you can feel that through the video. That was when I listened to this book and I was like, oh my God, like it makes so much sense that when your child is capable of doing it, right? And we give them the time and space and the support, and the teaching modality. And you say, as a parent, I believe in this, and I am confident that the boundary I'm putting up is a boundary that I believe in, and you've got this. That is going to teach them that you feel that you are firm in your own beliefs, and they are going to respond to that or co-regulate with you. They are going to feel that they can do it themselves, and when we feel we can do it ourselves, we are going to have more ability to go out into the world and problem solve. So it comes down to problem solving. And I think that's what we can use sleep training as a bigger picture for, right? So problem solving. I can fall asleep on my own, and I can also problem solve on how to put my pants on, right? Like think about a toddler trying to put your pants on. I mean, it's the most frustrating thing in the world when you're trying to get ready for daycare and you just need to get out of the house. They want to problem solve though. They can do it. Let them problem solve, because when they figure out how to put their pants on, they're going to feel confident. I want to problem solve. I want to buckle up my car seat, right? I want to do it. Yes, you need to double check it for safety. Let them problem solve though, right? All of those things are going to continue to build self-confidence in your child. And sleep training is just one of the things that you can do to help them. The added benefits of sleep training is that they sleep, and sleep directly correlates to childhood development, better academic outcomes, less behavioral outcomes, and more brain growth. All of those things are positive benefits of the sleep training when we are teaching our children independent sleep. Methods that I suggest at this age are either chair method or time checks. It really depends on your child's age, demeanor, whether they're in a crib, a big kid bed. I'm going to leave the links for the videos in the description so you have access to that, because ultimately, these are the reasons why your children are waking up, and the solve is going to be the sleep training, but it's going to be up to you to decide what type of sleep training is going to be the right fit for your family. And I want you to research both. I want you to look into both chair method and time checks. If this is something that you would like personalized support with, I'm here for you. That's what I work with families on, and I love helping toddler families specifically because I can help support you through that behavior support, right? Toddler sleep training is not about putting your baby in a crib and just going back in and checking to see if they know how to fall asleep. It's about creating positive behavior support. And that's a really important thing I want you to look for when you are doing research on sleep training for toddlers specifically. So as you are scrolling down to find those resources, make sure that you give the video a like and subscribe so that you know when I am releasing my latest YouTube videos, and leave any comments that you may have. I love interacting with you and answering any questions that your family has about sleep, because when you are sleeping, I am doing my job. As always, from my living room to yours, thank you so much for joining me today, and I can't wait to see you again next time.